It's Beatty. We are going to be doing a low effort video. My partner, Hink, dropped a video on Fap or No Fap, and he didn't throw shade at me, but he had some criticism of my argument. That's fine. I can explain myself better here, and that's why I'm doing it. Ultimately, we do agree on the subject just for different reasons. So, before I get into it, virility is finally here. This took, 4 or 5 months for it to actually appear in my hands. So, get it while it's hot. There's only about 90 left. So, only on leviathansubs.com. That's the only thing I'm throwing out for now. I have a very big announcement tomorrow. So, I'll live stream it. I'll post a link at Reddit, and YouTube will obviously tell you. So, going from there, Hink posted a very entertaining video on the subject. And I get his frustration, and I'm just going to explain my point of view. The premise, obviously this is not scripted, by the way, so if I'm stuttering a lot, that is why. But anyway, so the premise is Hink is siding with No Fap. He leans No Fap. He is not strictly No Fap. What was it? Semen retention, and that is honestly the right opinion. However, I chimed in that for prostate health, you do want to ejaculate. Notice the difference between ejaculate and masturbate. So, then that was about twice a week, 2 to 3 times a week. My argument is 2 things. One, some people are much hornier than others. And if you are going to masturbate, make sure it's because you are horny and not just because you're bored and want a dopamine release. Hink's criticism, my take, was that it's next to impossible to know if you're looking for a dopamine release or if you're horny. My counter argument is I know when I'm horny. For me, my testicles literally get sore and I get raging erections every morning, essentially. It starts eating away at my thoughts. I might be a sex addict. It's completely possible. You guys know what business I'm in. But what I'm saying is I have a pretty good fundamental understanding of how my body works at this point. However, not everyone does. Secondly, for my focus, I masturbate more than most. I probably do it once a day. However, I am on testosterone. I have taken anabolics in the past, and trust me, I've been on some ragers where I have gotten off 4 to 5 times in one day. Those have been my least productive days, period. However, that comes down to the individual and their own psychology and their own physical needs. So what I'm really on is team temperance, which is something I'm really starting to practice. This is the temperance tarot. You need to know a bit of astrology and stuff to know what temperance is, like the card. Anyway, essentially what temperance is self-control and discipline. So when it comes to masturbation or any other kind of vice, including porn, alcohol, drugs, you need to know when enough is enough. And let's talk about how Hink brought up the fact that most people masturbate with porn. As someone who has watched a fair share amount of porn, I can say that it has definitely warped my perception, subconsciously, to the point where my thoughts while masturbating are not the same as real life. And granted, I've been probably watching porn since I was a very young teenager because you know how easy it is to see. So I can tell you that my sexuality is warped because of porn consumption. However, I would not conflate the fact that I masturbate with my porn consumption, if that makes sense, because I can still masturbate without porn pretty easily. But you should just be trying to limit porn consumption as much as possible, because that's what's really going to fuck with your mind. Masturbation does fuck with motivation, but for me, it's like a beer, okay? I drink a beer, I relax. I masturbate, I can relax. And then I'm able to focus on the task at hand sometimes. If I go overboard with masturbation, however, I don't want to do anything. So really that's all it comes down to, is that you need to be, or you need to keep yourself in check with these bad habits, because alcohol has its benefits. It's antidepressant, not antidepressant. It's a nervous system suppressant, so it calms you down. It slows down your thoughts so you can think. For me, my vice has always been sex, so I need to make sure I can stay in control of my vices. Like, sure, I could easily become a sex addict as easily as the next person could become an alcoholic, but since I practice self-control, it does not go down that path. I've gotten close to it a couple times, but self-reflection has kept me from going down that path. Another point before I go. If you and your partner have like mismatched libidos, masturbation's almost going to be paramount for you to have a healthy relationship. You can still make any relationship work. It just takes communication and compromise. So for me, I am good literally every day. All right. My wife, 2 or 3 times a week. Typical woman. So that can cause a little bit of friction. If I'm constantly pawing at her for sex, it can put a little bit of strain on relationship. So to control the deviant that I am, I masturbate. So there's another reason. Anyway, what I'm saying is masturbation is okay in moderation. However, you need to make sure you're not overdoing it. It's that simple. It's easier said than done. Like Hinks said in his video, it's a drug. Like, you're literally releasing something that tells your brain, this feels great, let's relax for a bit, and just take it all in. However, since it's such a quick hit, you want it more and more often. Let's see. Anything else I'm missing? Oh, and since you all follow me for penis enlargement, masturbating can detrimentally impact penis enlargement. What happens with masturbation is that your skin literally degrades because it's a type of abrasion, and then you can tire out the pelvic floor muscles, and if you overdo it, you can cause some kind of strain to the pelvic floor muscles, causing hard flaccid. Hank touched on this already. However, if you're like me, and your skin basically determines your erection quality. So if my skin's a little beat up, I'm not going to be at my peak performance. And that's when it really impacts, say, my wife, if I'm having issues being fully hard. Granted, since I've had a bit of a growth spurt down there, it's a little bit of a blessing in disguise for her comfort as she gets used to it. But again, temperance is key. And honestly, even though Hank deleted the post, it has inspired me to cut back on my habits a bit. This all comes down to you, your actual conscious self, making these decisions about masturbating, when to and if not to, rather than the lizard brain that just wants you to feel good all the time. So that's what makes us human, by the way, is that we have this ability to control these urges. So if you're constantly masturbating, you are less human, if we look at this from a philosophical sense. Big word, $5 word. But yeah, I'm rambling. I just wanted to clear something up, and Hank wanted me to shout out his channel, so nothing's better for that than a little bit of debate. So virility in stock, limited supply, vigor coming soon again, probably about a week or two. This is BD signing off, and I'll see you probably tomorrow.